going to start the chapter 7. So we have just completed 6 chapters. So the first 6 chapters mentioned before is the karma portion. So then next 6 chapters, that is starting with 7th chapter to 12th chapter, it is a section of bhakti yoga. Then the last 6 chapters constitute the Jnana Yoga. So Krishna pretty much emphasizes bhakti in all chapters, and Srila Prabhupada also very emphatically, brings out the essence of Bhagavad Gita practically in every chapter or every page rather. But still, why is it that acharyas have given the opinion that first 6 chapters constitute the karma yoga? Because in the 4th chapter it was about gnana yoga, then 6th chapter was about dhyana yoga. So the reason is, there's a lot of emphasis or repetition of concept of karma yoga in these first 6 chapters. Now, in the second section, starting from 7th chapter all the way to 12th chapter, there is more emphasis on bhakti. Therefore, this section is known as section of bhakti yoga. So, towards the end of the 6th chapter, especially in the last verse of chapter 6, Krishna talks about who is the topmost yogi. After having explained karma yoga, gnana yoga, then even dhyana yoga, but he still says one who is always thinking of Krishna within himself, he is the topmost of all yogis. So unless one is a devotee, and this is possible only through bhakti yoga, unless one is a devotee, he won't be able to think of the Lord so nicely, favorably, because unless we love someone, we cannot think of him, okay, think of them all the time. So therefore, even there, Krishna is actually alluding to bhakti yogi being the highest of all yogis. And specifically, to Arjuna, because Arjuna, even though he's been asking all these questions as if ignorant, with a lot of humility, but still Krishna is encouraging him that, he doesn't have to go through all this because he's already on the highest platform, because he's always thinking of Krishna with love. So now in the 7th chapter, Krishna explains how a person can actually come to that platform of being able to think about him always. So definitely it's a very, very important aspect, because perfection of all yogas, what to speak of perfection of bhakti yoga, is to think of Krishna. Whether we chant or we read or we do any seva, if we don't come to the point of constantly thinking of Krishna, then we have not attained perfection. So now Krishna, therefore, he gives so many ways in which we can put this in practice. First of all, we have to get to know a person even before we can love them. Unless we get to know the person, and unless we understand that the glories of the person, or how nice the person is, we cannot come to even think of liking them. Therefore, Krishna actually goes on to explain his glories, so many truths about himself, by knowing which one will automatically become his devotee and start engaging in his devotional service. Because for devotional service, first of all, we need faith, adau shraddha. So unless one becomes faithful, he cannot become a devotee. And as one progresses in bhakti yoga, that means his faith is becoming stronger and more uh, determined. And therefore, in order to become fully convinced uh, by such devotional service, all our objectives will all be fulfilled. Krishna explains so many of the transcendental truths about himself. So in the first 7 shlokas, so Krishna tells how one can know him in full knowledge, in full. And that is possible only by hearing about him. So therefore, Krishna begins to explain how to attain that state, right, of Krishna consciousness, or to think of Krishna always. Therefore, Krishna urges Arjuna to first of all hear him with his mind completely fixed in Krishna, as he explains knowledge of himself. So, chapter 7 is known as the knowledge of the absolute, because Krishna is talking about knowledge of his own self. In the earlier chapters, he had not really explicitly declared, his own divinity. He has in sections here and there, in the 4th chapter, a little, sometimes even in the 6th chapter. But in this section, it becomes more evident and more prominent. So now he explains that he is the origin of everything. Now explicitly, he's going to state all these things, which we have been hearing from day one. That means all the devotees, practicing devotees, we hear about all this from day one. So for us, it may seem like, yeah, we know this. But the thing is, in order to come to that state of knowledge, it's not easy. It is only because of such great mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through the medium of Srila Prabhupada, we have been able to come to at least understand a little bit of this highest truth. So therefore, Krishna, because there are actually, even now, there are so many Vedic scholars who may have even studied all the 4 Vedas inside out, and Upanishads and Vedanta and all this, but still they're clueless that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. So that's why Krishna says now in the 7th chapter, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyate. After so many lifetimes of constant endeavor, a knowledgeable person, a gnani, he finally comes to accept Krishna as the supreme truth, and he will finally surrender to him. Therefore, the knowledge of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is extremely important. All right, so we will now start the chapter 7, Shloka 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Saptamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathagnashyasi Tachruna. So Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Supreme Lord, said, Mai Asakta Manaha. Asakta Mana means mind attached to him, Krishna. So, O Partha, that means son of Pritha, Arjuna. So, whenever we hear, so this is very important. We have to, our mind should be completely invested in that activity of hearing. We may be sitting in a class, Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam class, but if our mind is elsewhere, we will not get the full benefit. We may get some 5 credits, but we will develop faith only when we hear with full attention. So Therefore, Krishna is saying, with your mind attached to me, please hear. What should you hear? Because he's going to say now, he's going to talk about yoga, yogam yunjan. By practicing this yoga now, or the path of self-realization, madashraya, by taking shelter of me. So by practicing yoga in Krishna consciousness. So this is not any other kind of yoga. This is yoga of becoming Krishna conscious. So yogam yunjan madashrayaha. So he's also explicitly saying that in my consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Asamshayam means without a doubt. If you do all this, that means if you hear with your mind attached to me and by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, then what will happen? Then without a doubt, asamshayam, samagram mam. Samagra means completely. Mam, me, yatha gnasyasi tachruno. So then you will be able to understand me, know me in full knowledge. That means in samagram yatha gnasyasi me, mam. So you will be able to know me, gnasyasi, know me fully, and free from doubt, assumption. So therefore now you hear. So Krishna talks about his divine nature, his divine opulences, what kind of fortunate people actually become attached to Krishna, what are the kind of unfortunate people who never go to Krishna. All these things Krishna is going to talk about in this chapter. Therefore, for Bhakti Yoga, the beginning is Adau Shraddha. One should have faith without challenging the authority of Krishna. One who faithfully hears, with his full attention, and by practicing Bhakti Yoga with devotion to Krishna, then he can completely. So first is the faith. Secondly, even Bhakti Yoga, that means in the Srimad Bhagavatam, also we get to know the 9 processes of Bhakti Yoga. So people in general, they think Bhakti means some kind of a vague emotion. They say, oh, I have Bhakti. Everyone can have Bhakti to whoever they want. So that is not Bhakti. So Bhakti Yoga means it is very clear and specifically mentioned the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are the main 9 ways to do Bhakti. So Bhakti is not just anything or just some vague emotion. And Bhakti is directed only to Vishnu or Krishna, not to anyone else. So why? Because especially in India, worshipping devatas is very, very popular. So people misunderstand that, bhakti can be to any devata, and because they think they're all different forms of the same God. So all these misconceptions, Krishna is going to clarify in this chapter. So, shloka number 2. Gnanam teham savignanam idam vakshyam yasheshatah yajnatva neha bhuyonyaj nahatavyam avashishyate. So, gnanam means knowledge. Te aham, unto you, sa vignanam. Vignanam means realized knowledge. So gnanam is theoretical knowledge, what we get from scripture. So one may study the scriptures very nicely, and one may even become very scholarly, but that is only theoretical knowledge. When such knowledge, when theoretical knowledge actually becomes experiential, we should be able to experience it, at least to some extent, according to the level of our uh, progress in bhakti. Everyone will have a little bit of experience, because bhakti yoga from day one, it's very personal and it's very joyful. Therefore, now, so Krishna is saying he's not giving Arjuna just theoretical knowledge. So because Krishna is the Supreme Lord, when he speaks, he gives directly both theory and practical realization. Therefore, he's saying, Gnanam teham savignanam, along with experiential or realized knowledge. So, when we say we have realization of something, what does it really mean? That means we have experienced or we have put something to practice. So, knowing scriptural knowledge on a theoretical level is good. That is the beginning. But that should not be it. So, ultimately, the perfection of such knowledge is full realization of the Supreme Lord. So, therefore, realization doesn't happen overnight. So, step by step, on every level, devotees have to realize, and therefore they practice according to their level of realization. So, therefore, but when Krishna, because he's speaking to Arjuna, he is giving knowledge with full realization. Because now Arjuna he'll practically see, he's speaking to Krishna directly, and he will also practically see that Krishna is the origin of everything, and he is how everything is created by him and even destroyed by him, etc. Especially when he shows him the universal form. So he will practically experience also. And idam vakshyami. Vakshyami means I will explain. Idam means this. Asheshataha. Shesha means remaining. Ashesha means nothing is remaining. That means it's full, it's complete. So he's saying, Krishna is saying, I will give you full knowledge, both theoretical and practical realization, without leaving anything. Yet jnatva, by knowing which, natva means by knowing, na iha, in this world, bhuyaha, anyaha. Natavyam means to know, avashishyate means again it remains. So by knowing this knowledge, there will be nothing for you to know. Nothing will be remaining for you to know further. That means by knowing this, you would have known everything that needs to be known. So this may seem pretty wonderful a statement, but actually it is not. Krishna is actually saying he's not exaggerating anything. So that is one thing. Faith means we should understand and we should take it as is. We should never think it is exaggeration or not, or it is not true. So why it's not an exaggeration is because there are other statements from the scriptures which say that yasmin vignate sarvam idam vignatam bhavanti. That means by knowing Krishna, if there is a person, if he has realized Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, then he has realized everything. He has understood everything, the whole creation. Because Krishna is the origin of everything, and everything is within him, and everything has come from him. Then what more is remaining for him to understand? So that's what Krishna is saying here. So I'm going to give you that knowledge. And by getting that knowledge, there won't be anything left for you to be known. So this is a statement from Mundaka Upanishad. Kasminu bhagavo vignate sarvamidam vignatam bhavati. So that's what. Nothing else will remain to be known by understanding Supreme Lord. Okay, next shloka, number 3. Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschidhyatati siddhaye yatatamati siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatvataha. Manusyanam sahasreshu. Sahasreshu means thousands. Manusya means man or humans. So out of thousands of people, kaschid yatati means, kaschid means only few, some here and there. Yatati means who endeavors or tries for attaining perfection. Siddhaye means perfection. What kind of perfection? Perfection can only be in the spiritual platform, because in the material world, everything is imperfect, as the scriptures declare. Therefore, for spiritual perfection, as we even look around in the society, especially in today's day and age, very, 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 very few maybe even interested in anything that has got to do with spirituality. So, therefore, Krishna says, very, very rarely. There are only few here and there. Out of so many thousands, there may be one person who may be interested in spiritual life. And of those who have already attained perfection, spiritual perfection, yatatam api siddhanam. So among those who are trying for perfection, there may be just one who may actually know me in truth. Kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Veti means to know, tatvataha means in truth. Kaschin means, again, someone, very few. So therefore, out of thousands of people, only one may try for spiritual perfection, or who may even take to spiritual path. Out of those who have achieved such spiritual perfection, so we can understand, already it is so rare, one who may be trying. Among those who are trying, how many will actually attain perfection? Very, very, very few. And now Krishna is going a step forward. He's saying, even among those who have achieved perfection, barely one knows Krishna in truth. Barely one. That means to understand Krishna is extremely difficult. It's very difficult. Because, like I said, even among the people who are trying to learn the Vedic scriptures, all the knowledgeable people, Sanskrit Pandits, and all these Vedantists and all that, hardly one or two here and there may actually understand that the origin of everything is Supreme Lord is Shri Krishna. Therefore, it's very, very rare. So one may ask, why is it so? Because the subject matter is difficult. Not many are qualified to actually understand. Just like, uh, there may be lakhs of kids that may be enrolled in the primary education, primary and secondary education. Then many drop out by the time they have come to pre-university or even more during undergrad. Then very, very, very few may take to even going for masters, and fewer than those are those who go for PhD. So that's how it is everywhere. Similarly, here also, um, even in spiritual life, there may be many who are trying, but in the society at large, compared to, so if we are talking about only the society of devotees, even among those who are practicing, very, very few may actually attain perfection. But when we are talking about the society at large, among so many people, only very, very few are to actually take to this spiritual path. So therefore, there are so many different paths to spiritual perfection also. That's why Krishna explains karma yoga, gnana yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga. So, as he has already confirmed before, that these are all different levels or rungs in the yoga ladder. So, some may be on the state of karma yoga, some may be on the level of gnana yoga, some may be, very few may come to the level of pure bhakti yoga. So, therefore, one can understand Krishna only through bhakti. That he says few times. He has mentioned that in the Bhagavad Gita. Explicitly, he says he's bhaktyamam abhijanati yaman yaschasmi tattvataha. Therefore, unless one becomes pure bhakta, means one who comes to bhakti yoga platform, that doesn't mean all practicing devotees are completely come to the pure bhakti yoga, but practicing devotees are different. Only one who has come to the perfectional stage of bhakti yoga, such pure devotees, only they can understand Krishna. Therefore, it is very difficult to understand Krishna, because one who has to go through the different levels of yoga or different levels of purification of the consciousness. And when one finally comes to that completely pure consciousness, after having endeavored for probably many lifetimes in most cases, so then, then only, of course, it is finally, it is ultimately the mercy of the Lord. So there is also another Upanishadic statement wherein it is said that, one who is chosen by Lord, only he can understand. Yam evaishya te vrunate tena labhya. That means one who Supreme Lord who has to choose to give his mercy. Otherwise, on our own endeavor, it is very difficult to understand Sri Krishna. Therefore, understanding Krishna is very rare. So, in the next shloka now, Krishna talks about his different energies. Shloka number 4. भूमिरापो नलो वायुः खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यम्मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा. So these are different elements or different forms of material energy that constitute this material world. So that Krishna is giving a list here. Bhumihi means earth, apaha, water, anala, fire, vayu, air, kham, ether. Ether means akasha tattva or space. Manaha, mind, buddhi, intelligence. Eva, in certainly. Cha, ahankara means false ego. Iti, yamme. So these are 8 types of 8 divisions of material energy. So whatever we see in this material world, it is basically composed of these elements, nothing beyond this. Anything we can take of the food we eat or any kind of a drink. So whatever we see in this material world, it's composed of earth element, water element, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. So these things may be, especially the first 5 elements, those are gross elements that we can directly perceive. The subtle elements are mind, intelligence, and false ego, which constitute our subtle body. So at least the 5 gross elements we can directly perceive. So these are all considered Krishna's material energies. So he says here, bhinna prakriti. Ahankara iti yamme. Bhinna means it is separated from him. So prakriti means energy. Ashtada, 8-fold energies. Krishna is the source of everything. Then one can ask, how is it that he's saying this is separate from him? So Srila Prabhupada gives a very good example. So just like, in our body, our very body, it represents us directly. There are some things which have already got separated from our body. Just like, we cut our nails, sometimes the hair. These things get separated from us. They are a part of our body, but still now they are separated. So that way, this material energy is also comparable to the nails or hair. So it is similar to that when it comes to the Supreme Lord's body. So the entire creation actually is an extension of his body. And when it comes to the material world, these material energies, they are separated energies. So therefore, they're also coming from him. They also belong to him, but they're separated. They are not completely integrated with his own self. So in the next shloka, now he talks about another kind of energy. So even in here, so first 5, as I said, they are known as the Pancha Mahabhuta: earth, water, fire, air, ether, or space. So anything we see, it is composed of these things. So this is the gross elements, and there is which constitute our gross body. So there is one more body inside this gross body, and that is made up of the subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. But they're all material, they're not spiritual. So these are the these are the different categories of Krishna's material energies. The next shloka number 5, let's see what Krishna is talking about. अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जेवभूतं महाबाहो येदं धार्यते जगत्. So apara iyam, so inferior. Iyam means this. Itahatu anyam. So what Krishna spoke so far, these 8 separated energies, they're, so to speak, inferior energy of his. So Krishna has multifarious energies. He's the supreme absolute truth. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. So this material energy is one form of energy, but it is not really uh, superior. It is inferior kind of energy of Krishna. But yet there is superior energy. Now that's what he's referring to here. So Prakritim vidhi me param. Para means superior. Apara means inferior. So he's saying, now you try to understand the superior energy of mind. What is that superior energy? Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho. Mahabaho is Arjuna, mighty armed Arjuna. Jiva Bhuta, that means all these living entities, they belong to the superior energy of mind. Yaya idam dharyate jagat. Dharyate means is being sustained, or it's being, you can say many things, or utilized or exploited. What is being exploited by these living entities? This world, this material world, which is made of the inferior energy. So in the previous shloka, he was talking about the inferior energy. Now he is talking about the superior energy, which are the living entities, because they are spiritual beings, they are conscious beings, they are superior to the dull material energy. So what earth, air, water, fire, all these are dull matter. So we have all studied in our textbooks, right? What is a living thing and non-living thing? So the dull material energy is the non-living thing. And the living entities, or the Jiva Bhuta, they are the living things, living beings, which are conscious. That means I know I'm there, I'm living, I'm existing. So I know I have a body, I'm a person. So I have some qualities, I have some likes and dislikes. All this is there because I'm a person, and I'm aware of all this. I'm aware of the world around me, and I'm aware that I'm existing. But the dull matter, or the non-living things like earth, water, air, fire, they are not conscious. So therefore, that belongs to the material energy. This belongs to the spiritual superior energy, the living entities. Because they are superior and because they are conscious, they are aware. What they do, they try to they try to utilize this material energy, or they try to exploit it. So naturally, when someone is more powerful, someone is more intelligent, they'll try to rule over, they try to control the one who is less intelligent, or one who is less powerful. Similarly, living entities are also trying to exploit the material energy. Next shloka, shloka 6. एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवप्रलयस्तथा. Now all created beings have their source in two natures. So etat yonini. Etat means these two. What Krishna was talking about, para prakriti, apara prakriti. That means spiritual energy and material energy. Bhutani sarvani. All living entities, they are situated in these two energies. Upadharaya means iti upadharaya. You should know that all the living entities, they are actually they are situated in these two energies or natures. Aham kritsnasya jagatah. Kritsnasya means the entire, jagatah means world. This entire world, whether it is its creation, prabhavaha means its creation, pralayaha means its destruction. I am this origin of this entire creation, whether it this whole world, be it its origin or its destruction, everything is coming from me. Krishna is saying. So therefore, Krishna is saying all these living entities. See, because living entities are themselves spiritual, but because they are in this material world, they have material bodies. Therefore, they work with both energies. One is spiritual and one is material. And Krishna is saying, but I am the origin of all that is material and spiritual, because I'm the one who creates it, and I'm the one who destroys it. So Krishna was talking about this inferior energy being separated from him. So what about this superior energy? Is there any relation? That's why Krishna is saying everything, whether it is my superior energy or my inferior energy, everyone is coming from me. So Krishna is the origin of everything, including the living entities and the material energy. And then Katha Upanishad makes it more clear what is the relationship between the living entities, jivas, and the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. So the Katha Upanishad says, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. So among all the Nityas, or among all the eternal living entities, so these living entities, they're all spiritual beings. So we are all those living entities. We are all spiritual and we are all eternal. That means we don't die. Among all these eternal living beings, there is the leader, there is the origin. So he is the Supreme Lord. He's also a spiritual being. He's also a person, but he's the foremost of them. And finally, among all the conscious beings, that means all of us living beings, we are both eternal and we are also conscious beings. That means we are aware. We are aware that we are existing. We are not like the dull matter. So among all of us conscious beings, the Supreme Lord is the supreme conscious. We are conscious of only our body, only our life. But the Supreme Lord is conscious of the entire creation, and he's conscious of all living beings and all their lives, and he's conscious of the whole creation. Therefore, he's the supremely conscious person. In the next shloka, shloka number 7, Krishna now talks about his unique position. So now that he just, in the previous shloka, he just said he's the origin of all of these. Now he's going to say who he is really exactly. In the 7th shloka, Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. So here Krishna is saying that Mattah parataram na anyat. Matta means beyond me. Parataram, superior to me. There is nothing beyond me is superior. That means he is the highest superior truth. He is the highest truth. There is nothing beyond him. That means nobody has created Krishna, or nobody uh, was existing before him. So everything uh, is coming from him, and he existed prior to everything else. Therefore, he is the highest truth. And then how are these all these created beings, how are they related to him then? Mai sarvamidam. Mai means in me, sarvamidam, all of these. Protam, they are strung, sutre, like on a thread, manigana iva. Manigana means like pearls. So everything in this creation, what I'm saying, it rests on him. As he gives an example. Like, just like when we see the pearls on a thread. So in a pearl necklace, the pearls look very nice and attractive, but nobody notices that there is a string underneath that, which is actually holding all these pearls together and sustaining them. Similarly, we are all existing, we are all living in this space, right? And this entire creation, everything is actually, it is Krishna's body. So we are all inside him actually, in one sense. Therefore, he's saying we are all existing on him, just like as if we are all, if we were to be compared to the pearls and Krishna to be the thread, we are all strung together by this common thread called Krishna. So how intimately we are all connected to each other and to Krishna, because we are unaware of our spiritual nature. We see that we are different, that person is, they belong to this community or this country or this species. So Krishna is talking about all species and all living entities of all planetary systems, of all universes, what to speak of planetary systems. Therefore, we are all strung together, with the thread of Krishna. That means we are all resting on him. He is our eternal shelter. We have no other shelter actually. So we are all in him. At the same time, he's also different from us. It is not like how the impersonalists or Mayavadis, how they say that we are all him. No, it is not like that. So Krishna is made, there is a distinction. We are all like pearls and he is like the thread. Thread and the pearls are different. They are not, they don't merge into each other like some class of spiritualists, they would like to believe that, we are all one, or when we become liberated, we all become one. No, Krishna is saying we will still be separate. We will be like the pearls and he'll be like the thread. So what is the most important revelation Krishna is making here is there is no truth higher than him. Neither the devatas nor the immortal beings or liberated souls, nobody can equal him. What to speak of being above him? So he is over and above everyone else. And he has been silently, quietly holding us all, or giving us shelter, even though we may not realize it. It's seen the next shloka, number 8. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoh Pranamah sarva vedeshu shabdakhe paurusham rishu. So in the first 7 shlokas, so Krishna basically has given in a nutshell his own position, his own actual transcendental position, how he is all pervading Supreme Lord. He's pervading through his material and spiritual energies. Now, after knowing that he is the Supreme Lord and absolute truth, so one gets faith and one becomes his devotee. Now if one tries to practice bhakti yoga, now Krishna gives us pointers as to how to understand that he is actually in everything. So theoretically, he has said, yes, I'm there in everything. I'm pervading everything. But how do we understand it practically? Only when we actually understand it practically, then we will start to develop more faith, and then we can actually try to see Krishna in everything. And that's how we can remember Krishna in everything. So many a times atheists ask, where is God? Show me God. That's a popular question. So Srila Prabhupada would always say that, God is everywhere. Why don't you see him? Especially, Krishna gives so many pointers now. He says, Rasa Aham. Rasa means the taste. I am the taste in water. Apsu means water. So, any taste for that matter, Krishna is its origin. There is no taste in this whole creation that has not come from Krishna. So, then why is he still saying, I am the taste in water? So there is also a very technical reason for that. We will understand by studying Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures that there are different different sections of the material energy, as we already spoke about: earth, air, water, fire, and all that. And each of these categories of material energy, they have their own characteristics. So, for example, first element that came into being at the time of creation was shabda, sound. So then, sound is a characteristic of space. Even in science, we know that, when there is a space between two objects, the sound will travel from one object to other. So therefore, the kham or the akasha tattva or space, that has a characteristic of a sound. Then fire element has the characteristic of vision or form. So we can see the forms only because of light, or the fire has the characteristic of light and form. So these are a little, it may be a little advanced, it may be a little difficult, but then we can, in simplistic terms, we can understand that each of these different types of material energies have their own characteristics. And finally, the characteristic of taste, shabda, sparsha, rasa, rupa, gandha. The senses have their sense objects. So each sense, for example, the sense of tongue, its sense object is taste. So always, tongue has to do with taste. And if we see, tongue always has water element in it. The minute we think of any nice taste, the tongue waters. There's a very subtle connection with all this. And this is what Krishna is saying here. I am the taste of water. Because it is the water element, just like I said, the space element is attached, is the characteristic of space element is sound. Similarly, characteristic of water element is taste. So any substance for that matter, it gets its taste because there is some there will be some amount of water there. There will be some liquid in that. Otherwise, there is no taste, there is no juice. If something is very, very dry, it will not have the juice. But there is always some amount of water element in everything. Even in the most driest thing, there is always some element of water. Liquid means water, and that brings the taste in it. So therefore, Krishna is saying, that's why even in our tongue, taste is connected with tongue because there is also the water element there. Therefore, we can understand that in any substance which has taste, that is connected to the water element because it has some water element in it, and it gets its taste from that. And who is the taste? Who is giving that taste? Is so we can think of Krishna. So even in the Vedic literatures, Krishna is known as Raso Vaisaha. In fact, Krishna is the very embodiment of taste. His whole body is full of taste. Not just this kind of gross taste. He is the embodiment of the highest taste of spiritual taste. So in the spiritual world, the spiritual taste means it's the bhakti rasa. So devotees are constantly deriving different tastes by serving Krishna. So he's the embodiment of all tastes. So devotees are deriving spiritual taste by serving Krishna. Therefore, he says he is the taste of water. Because in the material world, taste is connected with water element. Therefore, whenever we drink anything or whenever we eat anything, when we taste something, then we can understand there is that taste is because of Krishna. Because if there is taste, that means Prabhupada explains that it is the active principle. Krishna is the active principle in everything. Thanks to the scientific dull analysis of everything, because they only see through very dull instruments. And they say water is tasteless. If we see in the science textbooks, they claim that water is tasteless. That's not true. The water also has a certain taste that we can understand when we go to a different place. We have been used to drinking water in, let's say, in Bangalore. If we go to Delhi, we can understand there is the change of taste of water, because that means water has taste. So therefore, we can understand that when we can think of Krishna in that way. Then Krishna is obviously light of the sun. Prabha asmi Shashi Suryayoho. Shashi, Surya is moon and the sun. Prabha means light, and Krishna is the light of sun and moon. So sun and moon are the original lights of the universe of Brahmanda. Otherwise, without the sun and moon, it's practically dark. Whatever kind of light we get in today's day and age, it could be electric lights or whatever, it is all ultimately coming from the sun or solar energy. And where is that coming from? It is coming from Krishna. Because we understand that originally the light is coming from the spiritual world. So this material world is full of darkness. So whatever light we see, it's coming from spiritual world. That means from Krishna. Therefore, whenever we see the sun and the moon or the light, we can think of Krishna that way. And then Pranava, Sarva Vedeshu. Pranava means Omkara. It is called the Pranava Om because before starting any of the Vedic mantras, they first chant Om. Therefore, in the beginning, the first of all, there is Om. So therefore, it is called as Pranava Om. And that Pranava Om is also represented by Krishna. Because it's a spiritual sound. It's the original sound, Omkara, and that is Krishna. Therefore, he's saying, I am that Om. And I'm also the sound and in the space or the sky. Like I said, space is connected with sound. Therefore, Krishna is saying, I am that sound vibration. And I am also the strength or the ability in a man. So because he is the original origin of all strength or power, therefore he's saying, so this is how we can see Krishna in everything. And he continues in very many ways. And by understanding this, we will become more conscious of Krishna and everything, and we will become better devotees. Therefore, this is also 7 chapters also part of the section of Bhakti Yoga.